Hey there, fellow adult collectors. Welcome back. David Eon sitting down in the museum with Soundwave and Ravage from the Transformers. And this, of course, comes from ThreeZero. It is the DLX Transformers Bumblebee Soundwave action figure. And this just arrived yesterday. And this actually belongs to LPH. And she has not even opened this yet. She didn't open it. She was like, you go ahead and do an unboxing and review, and then I'll mess with it. So it was very nice of her to do that. And she's the big Transformer person, really. She likes the Transformers particularly. There's a lot of glare there, but that's okay because we are going to be opening this up and getting a good look at it, a proper look. It's hard to see it like that. But she's the big Transformer collector, particularly Soundwave, Optimus Prime, Bumblebee, and Megatron. So we'll go ahead and we'll open that, and I guess I'll open the tape at the bottom of the box and go ahead and slide him out. So all very carefully. Just slice that tape. There's a round sticker. There it goes. And then of course you can just put something right inside that flap and give it a twist to pop those edges out so you don't get those pinches that you often see in the middle of these boxes. Doing my best to keep the box fully intact. There's some paperwork. Instructions and warnings, I'm sure. Because these things, there's ThreeZero warranty sheet, customer information, and a set of instructions. Because these are fragile, and people gave me some slack for being critical of the Optimus Prime when I did a review of it. But I am going to give an honest review, and to me, I haven't touched this one yet, but so far the ThreeZero Transformers I've handled feel exceptionally fragile. And there's Ravage, and he does fold up and fit in the chest, although when he folds up he does not look like a cassette. But that's okay. Let's go ahead and get him out. Set the box to the side. I forget if these are taped or not. I don't think they are. There we go. It's got a... Oh, he's in a plastic bag. Parts and accessories. And it looks like the stand is on the next tier underneath. Hands, rockets, Ravage. And there's our classic Soundwave. And I don't think this one has any... Does this one have die cast? I think it does, actually. It feels like die cast right here, because I know the other ones were partial die cast. He's heavy enough, especially in the legs. You can feel he's very bottom heavy. And that's good, though, because top heavy figures tend to topple over. He's only got one hand on. Did the other hand fall off? Or is it not there? Well, I see a problem. He does not have his other fist, ThreeZero. This is missing a piece. And this is brand new. She ordered this from Sideshow, and he is missing his factory hand. It's not in the bag. That is discouraging already. Well, I'm going to go ahead and pull this packaging apart. Maybe it's in here somewhere. It doesn't look like it. It doesn't look like that fist is in here. I'm going to go ahead and pull this apart and set it up on the Lazy Susan here, and we'll see how all the parts look, and then we'll test his articulation. And away we go, back with our Soundwave from ThreeZero, who measures, I'll just give you an idea here really quick how tall he is, almost exactly 12 inches. He's just short of 12 inches tall there. For height comparison, I'm not sure if that makes him shorter than the Optimus Prime or not, because she also has the Optimus Prime from this set. And we'll take a close look at his body, and then we'll take a close look at the accessories really quickly. There's the face. I like the sculpting on these. I like the sculpting on the other one. And this head plate does come out. That comes off, and this is where the battery goes, but they did not provide batteries. Usually the figures come with batteries, like Mezco, Hot Toys, whoever, but this did not come with batteries. I'm a little surprised that they didn't throw a battery, little 2-pack or whatever size battery this is supposed to be in there. I do not have the right battery for this, so I cannot show you his eye lighting up, unfortunately. We'll go ahead and finish panning down, take a look at his body really closely here. And it is good detail, good sculpting, and good paint. Where I've had problems with ThreeZero in the past with Transformers is basically just how fragile they are. They felt to me, when I did the review of the Optimus Prime, and a couple of people got upset that I said it, was that it literally felt like it was going to fall apart in my hands. It was so fragile, and they're like, well, you just have to get used to the idea that you're going to have to be extremely careful. And, you know, I don't feel like I should, for the amount that these cost, have to be extremely delicate or fear having it fall apart. That's just an opinion, and that comes partially from my experience in manufacturing. It's something that I've meant to do a discussion on for some time on this channel. But again, the detailing, I mean, even looking behind the knee joint there, the detailing on this is outstanding. I'll give him that. And the paintwork. Roll around behind him here, and I'll get that stand out of the way because he's got that big stand. Looks like a cannon. Behind him, I'll just move it so we can close up on his back. Again, the 4 Transformers that stand out the most for LPH are Soundwave, Optimus Prime, and who doesn't love Optimus Prime, right? Megatron and Bumblebee. I think those are the primary ones that she always collects, and she's always on the lookout for originals, like vintage ones. She has the original Hasbro Soundwave in the box. You may have seen it on her recent tour video. When I pick him up, we'll look at the bottom of his feet too. But yeah, a lot of detail back there. He does not transform. I didn't think that you might expect that he did, but you know, just for the point of reference, this is a non-transforming action figure. And we'll go ahead and look at the parts and accessories. Of course, this was the stand, which sort of resembles a cannon almost. And Optimus Prime has a very similar stand to this one. You see it says Bumblebee, and there's the ThreeZero symbol. Bumblebee the movie, of course. Put that right back here for a moment, and then take a look at what he's got going on down here as far as accessories. A couple of what looks like rockets. Make sure that's in focus. Not quite sure where these clip on yet, but I'll figure it out. Again, it does have a set of instructions, and we'll put this together, find out how LPH wants it, and we'll assemble him and get him into a pose. There's another piece. I'm not quite sure what that is either, to be honest. But again, that's why it comes with a set of instructions, just in case you're a little clueless like me right now. This cannon, which I think is Ravage's, but this is die cast. This is a heavy piece, actually. You can hear it. It might be Ravage's. Those rockets might be Ravage's. It matches him. And here he is. And since I'm holding him, I may as well go ahead and mess with him now. It looks like he's pretty simple to open up here. There we go. There's his head. There's his tail. Is he facing the wrong way? Does it go like that? His mouth opens, it looks like. Or maybe not. It looked like it wanted to open, but because I can see through it, I'll double check the instructions because I don't want to damage it, mess it around too much. That's basically it. He doesn't do too much. A little bit of a pivot there. Very limited articulation. But he is more of an accessory than a figure here. Just something to go along because he always had those cassettes that popped out. He had at least 4 that I can remember. You know, Rumble, the other guy who looked like Rumble, the bird. What was the bird's name? Laserbeak, wasn't it? Well, that's about as far as that bends. Right there. But it's a nice looking accessory. I'll find out for sure if the mouth opens or not, but you can see how there is a split there. It'd be nice if it does. His blaster. Nicely detailed. You know what would be cool is if you had like a fire effect that could plug in here like it's being shot. I know Mezco does that a lot, and Hot Toys has been doing it recently too. His shoulder cannon. And the hands. Reaching hands, and these are kind of rubbery, which might make it easier for these to plug in. Reaching hands. Again, these are rubbery. Trigger fingers. And a pointing or perhaps saluting hand. And no, that fist was not in the packaging anywhere. He is missing the fist. And as I understand it, this was delayed many times too. It did not come out when it was supposed to come out. It's one of those things where you kept getting an email saying, "We're sorry, this is going to take longer than we expected." Let's test his articulation. His head's on kind of a ball joint. Side to side's pretty good. Up and down. Tilt. You can get a good tilt out of it. I like that. The cassette door. with a nice deep cavity for Ravage, because again, he's not shaped like a cassette. He's pretty big and bulky, and this is just kind of like a sticker on the inside, painted to look like electronics in there. Hopefully you can see that well enough. Arm articulation, and these pieces, which are on like a little kind of a hinge up here, and you got to watch these, raising the arms and turning them, and there's a ball radius in there, you see it, so you can get, you see how that flap came up to accommodate it. You do have to watch out for these ball radiuses popping out. I've had that happen with Hot Toys Iron Man figures. But the shoulder rotation isn't bad at all. Elbow to about right there. So single jointed bend in the elbow. Turning radius at the high bicep there, close to the shoulder. The hand, it's good turn and rotation, and it folds in a little bit, not too much, because, well, that just came right off. Popped off. But that'll give me a chance to test the hands here in a moment. The bulky forearms and this piece right here block a lot of that rotation. And of course, both arms are going to function exactly the same way here. And there is no forearm rotation at all. You can see the hinge in there. We'll try putting a couple of other hands on to see how easy that is. Sometimes hand transitions can be a pain. And this one is difficult to get on there. I thought it would be a little easier because the hands were rubberized. It does not want to go on. And I'm worried about this piece sticking out here too. I don't want to force this too hard and have that snap. There, I think I got it. So there's the trigger hand. It's a little more difficult than I expected. And I'll give him a reaching hand on the other side, at least for now, until she decides how she wants it, just to test these. You can hear it grinding in there. At least it's a larger ball joint, because smaller ball joints, they break. And that's another problem Hot Toys has a lot of. Okay, so it's on there. Waist twist, very delicately. Well, he's got this going on, but that's very limited on account of these flaps, and that is flexible so that you won't break it when you tilt side to side. That's as far as it goes. Ab crunch, there is a bit of an ab crunch. You can see the spine expose itself back here, just a little bit, not too much, but it's enough that you can get him to arch forward. So that's pretty decent. Side to side, blocked by a lot of these little pieces that are sticking out. And these two, stuff like this you got to watch out for coming off easily. They're clipped on, so if you knock it off, you should be able to get it back on without too much trouble, but just be careful of that. The legs, yeah, it can move up. You got to do this. Look at this. These two panels come out, and then that's how you raise for a split. See that? How that works? It's on like a little hinge. This is where these start to make me nervous. Is all of these little pieces and clips and stuff popping off, and because you pop them off a few times, you can break a clip. Seated position and reverse, and those come out a little bit so that you can bend the legs backwards without breaking the panels, hopefully. Knee bend, double jointed knee bend, and this piece that covers, I guess, where his quadricep would be slid down when I bent it. Watch. See that? So you can get a double jointed knee. So you can have him in a kneeling position like that. That's interesting. Foot articulation. No side to side. That tilt's not bad. The toe joint looks like it should move, but it isn't. And there is a twist at the ankle, not in the calf. There it goes. A slight movement, not much. But I suppose that's enough to get sort of a walking or perhaps running pose. So let's go ahead and get him into a pose and see how he looks. A quick point about the stand here, in case you can't figure it out. This part inserts into right here on the back of the figure. This panel, it opens up and you're supposed to insert this in here to hold him onto the stand. And the stand looks like it turns. It does not turn, so don't try to turn this, you'll break it. It actually pops out and then you just reconfigure it manually that way. But I can see where you might make the mistake looking at it as some sort of a joint and trying to force this and you'll snap it. And also for the extension, you depress that to close it back up. The instructions aren't very clear. I mean, it's right here. You can kind of see this, that they pulled it apart, but that's something that you could miss, and I just wanted to point that out. And here we are back with Soundwave in somewhat of a pose. I didn't do too much with him. There really isn't too much you can do the way that these are designed. It's kind of limited, and I did figure out those pieces. You can see back here that that one die cast piece is actually the connector for the shoulder cannon. And there is a hinge here as well, so you can reposition that once you get it plugged into the cannon and into his back. That's what that hole in his back was for. And those other pieces actually go on Ravage. That one piece, I wasn't sure what it was, goes on Ravage's back. His jaw does open. I figured it out, and I basically had to get my nail underneath his bottom lip, if you will, and pull it down. And there was no harm done. The instructions indicated that you could get it open, so I kept messing with it and figured it out. And those rockets go on his hind legs like that. And I gave Soundwave the pointing fingers so that you could pretend like perhaps he's giving Ravage some instructions like go and kill that Autobot. Again, no fist. The right fist is not here. And so LPH will have to, I guess, contact Sideshow, and if they won't do anything, contact ThreeZero directly and just say, hey, no right fist, and we can prove it. We're not making things up. We're not trying to rip anybody off here. There was literally no fist in the package. And again, after tons of delays, because this figure was held up for quite a while. Overall, again, it looks really good. Posability is kind of limited. It's a bulky figure. And it does feel pretty fragile. I was uncomfortable handling it at times because it was fragile, but not as bad as the Optimus Prime was. The Optimus Prime felt really flimsy when I handled it. Made me nervous when I was working with that figure. I was like, ugh, I don't know about this one. And as I pointed out, people got upset with me, but you know, I don't work for ThreeZero. And the whole point of doing a review is to be honest. And you don't have to agree with me. If you love the figure, you love the figure. That's what it comes down to. Hands were still a problem. They don't want to stay on. That ball joint, for some reason, it does not hold very well to that ball joint, so when you turn the hands, they tend to pop out. And it would have been nice, I thought, just as a courtesy, to include batteries. And I know people will be like, oh, batteries, that's no big deal. And it's like, well, when you're paying hundreds of dollars for these things, retail, I think as a courtesy, a couple of batteries couldn't hurt. And usually they are included with these figures anyway, so I'm kind of surprised not to see batteries. You know, Big Chief gives you batteries, Mezco gives you batteries, Hot Toys gives you batteries, on and on. I could keep going. You get the idea. ThreeZero, no batteries. So what do you think? I like the way it looks. I like the sculpting. I like the painting on these. And I know LPH likes it. She's the one with the Transformer collection. And I think she said that they had a Megatron and that she's got the Megatron on order. And we'll do a review of that one when it shows up as well. Any thoughts or opinions about this one? Feel free to post them in the comments section down below. Please do give the video a thumbs up if you got something out of it. Share it if you can, subscribe if you're new, all that good stuff. Check out some of our other videos. We do a lot of unboxings, reviews, showcases. We showcase modern and vintage. You see, we got a lot going on down here. Modern and vintage, that's her He-Man stuff over there. And then it just goes on and on down here. We have toy industry discussions and weekly roundups and all sorts of things going on this channel, so we hope that you'll join us. And so what more can I say but thanks for watching, and we will see you again soon.